Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. How's your day going?
Everything's great. It's a Tuesday, Yeah, things are good. We're ready to rock and roll this morning. Got off to an early start and just looking to keep it going.
Amazing. I have so many questions to ask you, but when I was doing my research, I found out that you jumped into this NFT project, and I want to get started with that first. And
hmm
so, this project that you're involved with, it was in collaboration with Culture City, and it's called the M5 series. I was so
hmm
fascinated to learn about the utility and smart contract and things behind it. So, how
hmm
did you get involved with it? And please share with us the purpose and vision behind it.
So glad you asked. So the M5 series, the Movement Mummy, that collab with Culture City, it started really through the pandemic. And I'm here in New York City, and unfortunately, I'm a physical therapist. So as a physical therapist, I've been seeing a lot of people suffering with neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, all while they're working from home over the last 18 months. Bad postures, long hours. A lot of companies are short staffed, so people are working even harder, even longer at home, and just sitting at their computer,
Yeah.
bad postures for 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I just found myself giving the same sort of exercises to a large number of people. And this is where, NFTs were really starting to like gain traction,
Yeah.
the crypto punks of the world, the cool cats, like those were really starting to like blow up. And I was just thinking to myself, I wanted to be, one of the first people in fitness to do something in the space that provided, tremendous value. So that's really where the idea behind the M5 series came from. So it's five different exercises that an individual can perform. And the idea is you can own one or all five, but I would like people to perform all five because those five exercises will definitely help, 90% of people reduce their pain in their neck
Yeah.
and in their back associated with working from home. And so, but each one is a specific exercise. So there's value in the image, but built to the smart contract, we have discounts at the club. We have in-person or virtual visits.
Yeah.
So someone in England, someone in Bali can purchase this NFT,
Yeah.
and if they're suffering with certain issues, we can jump on a Zoom or Skype, and I can help them from across the world. So,
Yeah.
something that I'm really passionate about, something that I think provides tremendous value to a lot of people. And Culture City, I got involved with them, a lot of amazing work in the field of sensory disabilities and helping people with invisible disabilities, autism, PTSD. So I'm like, who better to partner with than an organization that's already helping tons of people? Because that's really my goal: provide value, and give. And then in the end, we'll win as well. But in the beginning, just give as much value as possible.
That is so amazing. I was learning, the more I was trying to learn about it, it spoke about the inclusion of sensory deficit people and stuff like that. So, would you like to expand more on that? Why something like that specifically was a target for you guys?
Great question. So I'm a father. I have twins. They were born at 29 weeks, so they were born pretty premature. They were 2 pounds, 8 ounces when they were born, and they both have sensory deficits. They'll be actually their birthday is on Saturday. They'll turn 3 on
How
Saturday. So
amazing.
shout out
Please
to my
wish them.
sons, Chance and Miles. Happy early birthday.
Yes.
Um, so that was something that was really close to my heart just because of my family situation. So I have some friends who are connected with Culture City. I actually met them at NBA All-Star Weekend, and we just been staying close. And actually, a few of them come into the office to receive services. So when I was thinking again about the NFT project and really trying to put it out there, I definitely wanted to make sure that there was a charitable donation that was part of this. So for every single purchase that is made on OpenSea for the Movement Mummy, 25%, so not just a small
Yeah.
chunk, chunk will be donated to Culture City. And it's important for me because, again, my family situation, I want to make sure that kids across the world have access to, you know, teachers who have proper training, police officers that have proper training, for kids who have sensory disabilities, because it is not something that you would visually see. It's something that you'd have to know the history behind that. And me, it was just very important to try to match those two things, in hopes that, you know, more and more people will be educated on, you know, sensory needs for our growing sensory population.
That is so amazing. Best of luck to you on that project. It's such a strong mission behind it, and I feel like this is like such an early stage for NFTs right now. So even you learning how to interacting, launching a project as a, you know, like physiotherapist and stuff like that, I think it's incredible, and it's really like paving the way for others to see what NFTs are capable of beyond art. So congratulations to you. I wish you all the best. And
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, so you've been in the physical therapy industry for over like 7 years. How did you find your passion behind it, and how did you start on your journey to establish Fit Club New York?
So, really started, I guess, as just being an athlete. You know, my story, my background is just basketball player all through life. I got a full scholarship to play here in the States. And unfortunately, my senior year, I ended up breaking my foot. So I had the fortunate but unfortunate experience of working with a sports physical therapist. So already in school, and I was on a pre-med track anyway. I just didn't know if I wanted to be a PA, if I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, or what. But when I was exposed to the world of physical therapy, I was like, this is awesome. I can not work. You know, right now I'm working on a computer with COVID, but I don't have to be in front of a computer all day. I don't have to be, you know, behind a cubicle. I get to see people. I get to work with athletes. I get to be personable, which is just my personality. I'm a people person. I just love meeting people. I get to meet people every day from different walks and paths of life. So being injured exposed me to that field, and that was something that was really precious to me, because I took a lot away from that, and being able to like give back to other athletes. Once I graduated undergrad, I took a year off, and then I worked as a personal trainer. So I was always like working on my own body for sports and athletics, on their bodies as well. And that's really where the idea for Fit Club blossomed. Because I wanted to bring something where it was the world of physical therapy and healthcare and the world of personal training and fitness, and smash those two things together. Because for me, it was just a logical collision that needed to happen. And there wasn't really any companies doing that. It was, so I'm a personal trainer or I'm a physical therapist. And it was sort of like a line drawn in the sand between the two. And I wanted to bridge that gap. So that's where the idea for Fit Club, you know, started. It was in that like gap year. And then I got into Stony Brook. That's where I got my doctorate of physical therapy. And then the rest is history. You know, I met a lot of people along the way. I was very intentional about who I was looking to meet and what meetings and what internships I was looking to be a part of. So that when I left school, I would feel that I had the best like ground support to build a business. I worked for a year and a half for a company here in the city. And then after a year and a half, I had a table and a dream. It was you know, providing 5-star care for the active population here in New York City. And from that table and a dream, me walking around, taking the train uptown, hopping in a cab back downtown, biking across to the east side, it just blossomed into then getting my own space. And then from getting one space into a second space, now we just recently opened a third space. So yeah, it's a testament to just like hard work, dedication. And again, for me, the key word is value. I want to provide way more value than people are dollars for. So it always feels like a discount for people when they're working with us. So that's really my goal in life. And I think we're accomplishing that. And I just want to keep pushing it and see, you know, where we can take this thing.
That is so amazing, and that is so smart. I think how your mind was working as an entrepreneur, being like a doctor, and because you eventually wanted to transition into a business, it's just incredible how you like leveraged your network to get clients and establish this dream for your own self. Amazing, super impressed. And on that note, I wanted to know what's your story as a person, from when you were born to bred to today, you would say.
So born in Queens, I'm a New Yorker through and through. Born in Queens, raised in Long Island. I'm back in Queens now. Again, my journey was I have a younger brother, two parents, still together. So I had a nice upbringing. My dad was NYPD, so he didn't mess around. I was not getting away with anything at home. My mom was a teacher. She just recently retired. So just like humble beginnings. But there was always, a part of me that just wanted something greater. When I was young, it was like, to get a scholarship. And then it was like, all right, do I want to play pro? All right, let's run this business. But there's always a part of me that just like wants to yearn for like, what's next? What's next? What's that next level?
Yeah.
And I think that comes from my parents, in particular, my mom, she's sometimes I can think of it as being like too much, but she's always sort of been on me to like push myself and strive for that next level, whether it was honor roll as a kid or, trying to graduate with honors from college. So I think that just sort of hearing her in the back of my head, even today, as I go through meetings and, meet different people, it's like, all right, what can we do next? So like, how this is at a level 100. How can we get it to like 110 and 120? So that was just my upbringing, again, outside playing sports on the street with my friends. I was telling someone the other day, like, if I was in trouble, the worst punishment for me was like no outside. Like I was like, you can like put me in the corner, you can beat me all you want, but like just let me go outside. Like I wanted to go outside, because nowadays kids just want to be on their phones, and it's just different now, But that was always wanting to be around other people, wanting to be in the middle of what's happening, and it just pushed me and helped me to develop to where I'm at today. Being a personal trainer was a great experience. I think, honestly, for every physical therapist out there working as a personal trainer or in some sort of gym training facility is such a plus. I was able to connect with people one-on-one, which is exactly what you do as a physical therapist. And the connection is key because a lot of people, especially who get to go on to get their doctorate degree, they're intellects. They're very, very, very smart people. However, that connection with other people, I feel like, is so much more important than just being smart, because you can come across as pompous or arrogant, and when you think you know more than someone, it's very hard to listen as well. Yeah. And one of the key skills, I think, to being a great physical therapist or anyone in the healthcare fitness industry is listening to the people that you're working with. Absolutely. And like understanding what they want out of the experience, then helping them achieve what they want, not what your goals are for them. So that was a very eye-opening experience for me, and just connecting with people. And I've been able to take that, through now all of life, and, just being on so many different podcasts and speaking to, so many different people along the journey. It's just something that has really helped me connect with as many people as possible, and in a real way, in an authentic way, not in a fake way, because that's also something that is very noticeable to others as well. So that's really been my journey. Also, sports has played a huge role in my life. It's helped me be a team player. It's helped me understand that not every single person is going to be LeBron James. Sometimes you have to have the J.R. Smiths on your team. Sometimes you have to have these other players that help you and highlight your greatness, right? So even in my organization now, I treat it like it's a sports team. I'm a player / coach but each of us has a specific role. You know, one person's role, like on the court, is to shoot and drain threes. In my organization, one person's role is to be that empathy police, where if things are feeling like they're going sideways for a patient or client, we have that one person that comes in and knows my role is to make sure that I show nothing but empathy and smooth things over and make sure that this person is taken care of and feels like their needs are being met. So sports has played a huge role in my life. It's helped me to work with, you know, people from different backgrounds. I know over the last year and a half, especially here in the States, there's been a lot when it comes to, you know, race issues and social justice. And, you know, sports, I feel like, is the great matter, white, black, Asian, and Native American. If you can ball, you can ball. You're playing. You're on my team. Like, let's go. Let's win. Let's work together. That's been something that is, you know, helped me to just feel very confident in my own skin and around people of all different shapes, sizes, and colors as well. So yeah, that's a lot of my journey. And I'm looking at the first 34 years of my life. I'm going to call that, you know, my learning phase. And now I want this next 30 to 60 to whatever to be my execution phase, right? Now it's time. I learned the things that I need to learn. Now let's execute at a very high level and a very intentional level every single day.
That's amazing. I'm super, of course, you're obviously very talented and very competent, but I think what's really sticks out about you is your mindset and your set of values, how you focus on, you know, adding value and being authentic and, you know, building relationships and, you know, being really genuine. So where would you say you got those characteristics from? Where did you get those set of values from to establish in your life?
The value for sure over the last couple years, I got to shout out my man, Gary Vee. He's the OG when it comes to just providing value. I've gotten to hang out with him a few times and get to know him. And yeah, it's that's something that I've definitely learned and picked up from him. It's just give, or equal out. You know, it's when you're providing value, you're helping tons of people. And I heard something from John Henry the other day. I've taken a lot of his content as well. And he says, my goal isn't to make 1 billion. My goal is to help 1 billion people. And like, to me, that's the secret sauce, right? Like, if your goal is to help people, then everything else that you want in life will come, you know, if it's monetary, if it's, I mean, maybe not love, you know, maybe, you know, but like, if you're helping people, like, just the world has this like attraction, like it's not palpable. We can't like put our hands on it to like say it's 100% there, but like I feel it, you know? So that's just something that I picked up from the two in particular. Yeah, so those have been like major influences on me over the last couple of years.
That's amazing. Gary is definitely a very, very strong influence on people. And this podcast actually started because of him. I'm like a big Gary disciple. So I found my initial guests when I had zero like views and stuff like that. I would find them from Gary's comment section because everyone was just like, you know, like-minded. They understood the social media game and everyone was just kinder and nicer. And now, you know, we've built this into this. So I'm super like pumped to hear that answer. And there's this question we ask everyone on the podcast is, are you happy?
Am I happy? Oof. I'm definitely happy, but far from content. I will say that. That's like sort of my motto. I'm happy, but far from content. I'm blessed. I have, you know, 3 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife, a growing business, an amazing team of individuals that I get to come to work with every single day, who give me their all, and I try to double down on that and give that back to them tenfold. Yeah, so I'm definitely happy, but far from satisfied. Happiness doesn't come without stress, so there's definitely stressful days along the way and along the journey. There's days where you question, like, what is going on? Is this worth it? Is the 14-hour, 16-hour days and go home, take care of my kids, and no time for me? But at the end of the day, and up to this point so far, it's totally been worth it. And I'm just super excited to see, again, in the grand scheme of things, like being a 34-year-old Black man, to be able to do what I'm doing, There's not a lot of people who can say that. So I'm very happy, but definitely also want to push the envelope, not just for myself, but to then be an example, to be a sponsor for others, so that they can say, hey, if he did, then why can't I? Because I think that is so important, especially for people and coming from where I come from in my community, is that they need to see it. They need to look and see that it's actually achievable by someone that looks like them. So I want to be that example for them, or one of those many examples, hopefully, for them, so that they know that they can go out there and do whatever they put their mind to.
That's amazing, man. I'm super happy to hear that. And on that note, just to switch it up, what would you say is your favorite kind of music?
I would say rap for sure. More old school rap. I'm a big Jay-Z fan, like old school Jay-Z. Um, Big Pac fan as well. Big J. Cole fan right now. Kanye, I go up and down on Kanye. There's some Kanye where I'm like, oh, he's speaking to my soul. And there's some Kanye where I'm like, I can't listen to this because it's bad for my soul. You know, like that's where I'm at with Kanye. But I'll definitely say rap for sure. R&B when I just want to like chill. In the morning, I like to put on like chill like house music here in the office just to like ease into the day, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's those are the things that I most listen to.
All right, so where does Donda lie on your happiness?
Ooh, ooh. Honestly, the first go around, I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And then second go around, it started to like
Grow on
knock
to
a
you.
little bit more. And then the third go around, I'm like, okay, I know I really, really like this song. I really, really like that song. There's maybe one or two on there that I like skip, but after that, I think it's a really solid album. Honestly, I think it's a solid album. I like that he has two versions for multiple different songs.
Yeah.
I love that he's not afraid to talk about God. You know, honestly, it's refreshing to hear that, as opposed to be this and this, suck my, you know, and it's just
Yeah.
like talking about God is it's refreshing. It's refreshing, so that we know we always try to stay centered, right? And I personally, Kanye's story is a redemption story for me. Like none of us are perfect. We all have our, you know, skeletons in the closet, and we all have, you know, times where we flip out. And for me, I just feel like that's the journey, right? So that you can always come back home. There's no way where you can't come back home. Ask for forgiveness. So yeah, that's why I really like Donda, because to me it's the epitome of that journey where you can go astray, you can backslide, but you can bring it back home, and that's what Donda sort of represents for me.
Amazing. Can I ask you a tough question, which is, if you had to pick one, would you pick Drake's CLB or would you pick Kanye's Donda?
That's a great question. If I had to pick one, gun to my head,
Yes.
I would say to go straight through would probably be CLB, but to like really get in a specific zone, Donda. I guess that's not answering your question. All right, gun to my head, I'm gonna pick Donda.
Oh, really, Donda?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Donda.
Wow.
Drake stuff is great. I love Drake. I love Drake. But you just know what you're gonna get with Drake. You're gonna get a lot of hits. You're gonna get a lot of like poppy music.
Yeah.
But there's songs on Donda that really like
Give you the
speak to
chills.
inner Kellen.
Wow, that's an unexpected answer, but I really like it. And on that note, one of my favorite quotes was, that diamonds are polished by other diamonds. And just like that, people are polished by interacting with other people. And, your business is in this industry where it's so client oriented. You've interacted with so many people on a regular basis, from like athletes to professionals, to so many other like CEOs and, like all kinds of people. So what would you say has been your biggest learning in this continuous journey of interacting with so many people? Like, what have you absorbed?
Hard to focus on one. I'll try to highlight a few. The one of the keys is follow-ups, because you meet a million people along the way, but if there's no follow-up, then there's no action. So follow-ups are absolutely vital. And I'm continuing to learn and try to get better at that. Whether it's via email, text, I don't hear from you, question mark, question mark. I'm a big double question mark person. Like,
Yes.
hey, just want to know. And you still see me here, question mark, what's happening?
Yeah.
So that's something that's very important because you'll meet a lot of people along the way, and a lot of people genuinely do want to help you. But they're just so busy. They're just so busy that they're not blowing you off. I know it's ghosting. That's the new word. They're not ghosting you. They're just very busy individuals. So making sure that you put the effort in to follow up. I can't even tell you how many times people have like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that you followed up. Like, I've been meaning to get to this. And in our own head, we can think like, oh, we're being annoying, or they don't want to answer me, or this, that, and the third. And that's just our own thoughts blocking us from something greater.
Yeah.
So keep following up. That's a huge thing that I've picked up along the way. And then be on offense. Another thing is like we're taught a lot to, like, be on the defense. And one thing that's really helped me years is just always being on offense, always pushing forward, right? Like the best teams, a lot of them are the ones that score the most points, right? So like go for it, shoot your shot. So that's something that I've really tried to embody as well, like just always being on offense, not trying to be like reactive, but always like being pro, go. And then the third thing, I guess, is even though my mindset is go, push, I also understand that it takes time to get places, right? So on the day to day, I want to get as much done in the next 24 hours as possible. But in the grand scheme of things, I still know that it takes years to accomplish things, right? So day to day, still try to move fast, still try to accomplish so much, but just know that anything great takes time. So just trying to keep those 2 points of balance. And it's hard to explain that to people because they're like, but you say it takes time. Yeah, it takes time. But today, like, what can we do now? Like, you have an hour of time. What can we do in that hour of time to get us closer to that point, right? So just trying to articulate that and explain that for not just myself, but, others, especially people on my team, is very important. So those are the 3 takeaways that I feel like, to me, would love to share with others to hopefully help them as well.
That's amazing. That's actually one of the biggest things I learned from Gary is when he would say patience. And when you hear patience, you're just like, okay, I'm patient, but should I not do anything? Should I be patient? And then he explained it in the best sense possible. He said, micro speed and macro patience, like you said, try to get as much as done as possible in the day, and then don't be super result oriented. Go at it like you're gonna get it tomorrow, but then don't be too attached to the end goal in terms of like seeing those results. So I think that is definitely a very important lesson. And you talked about being on offense. Could you expand on that? I've heard that from a lot of people, but does being on the offensive mean like being very open to take risks?
Definitely open to take risks. Definitely. So if, let's just say for me, for example, right? So example, COVID, honestly, like was shunned upon for us to like see other people, right? Like, especially as my business, like that's our livelihood. We see people in person. We had to quickly make that shift. That's something that really, really, really helped us initially. But when I was talking to people about opening an office, they're like, dude, you're going to open an office during COVID? Like, what? Are you crazy? Like businesses are failing left and right, And it's like, yeah, that's true. But, their business isn't my business. Their vision isn't my vision. Their mission isn't my mission, right? So that was a time where I could have easily been on just the defense. Let's just save. Let's try to be as liquid as possible. But I saw an opportunity again. So that's where the offense comes. It's like when other people are shying away from things, that's when I'm like, I need to go. I need to get it. Let's go. Let's push. So that's my example of being on offense. And I guess another one would be with the NFT project. There's no one in the health. I don't even think most MDs, nurse practitioners, PTs know what an NFT is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are invested in any crypto, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. I just, the healthcare industry is usually the last to adopt anything. So again, for me, being on offense was be the first one to put it out there. So those are, I guess, some examples for me being on offense, right? Just like constantly pushing the envelope, being first to market. Those are going to be things that help you. Those are going to be things that give you speed, and so much more learnings happen. I'm never a person that things need to be perfect before I put it out. It's like, put it out, see the feedback, adjust as you go. Put it out, see the feedback, adjust as you go. It's a cycle. Just go. Having it be perfect is what stops so many people. And then 5 years down the line, you're like, man, I had this idea. I should have did that. And it's like, Apple wasn't perfect. They changed their logo. Disney wasn't perfect. They changed their logo. Like Netflix, like everyone, like it's just evolve, right? So again, I think we get in our own head about that stuff. And I used to be the same way. It took me meeting these people, having these conversations, ingesting this content to open my mind up in that way. So, but once it's open and unlocked, boom, the world just like opens up around you, and you just start like taking risks, you know?
That's so amazing. Thank you so much for giving those two examples. That really elucidates, like just being unafraid and going for it. You'll learn so much more than, just waiting for things to feel right and feel perfect. And you really live it. So the NFT thing is incredible. It's right on point. No one in the healthcare, I don't think they would have even been able to comprehend what NFTs are. But, you diving into it is just incredible. And on that note, what would you say is your dream, ambition, or end goal?
Wow. So my dream ambition is to have all 500 of our NFTs sold, have them all be holders. I would love that. I would love to also then be able to actually put something together for the holders of the NFT project, where again, tremendous value add, whether it was a day where we can get all of them in the same room, whether it was a day that we can, attend some sort of major event, conference together. I would love to have that as one of my missions. And then I would love for each and every single person who chose to invest in the project and invest in me to also reap so much, not only on value from, me and with their body, but also financial value, so that the project, when they went to sell, it was like life-changing for them. So they not only were able to improve their body, improve their health, improve their fitness, improve their mental, but also be able to improve their finances. That to me would be a dream. And then also to have the mission of Culture City really highlighted through that, so that again they can continue on their mission and sensory inclusion and awareness and training. That would be phenomenal. And then, again, I just want to help people. I just want to be known. I want my legacy to go down as, Dr. Kels was a very influential and helpful person. And he helped in so many different ways outside of just physical therapy and sports rehab. If I can do that, I'm happy.
Incredible. I was actually checking out your NFT project on OpenSea and stuff. I noticed it did not have a website, a Discord, and Twitter. So I guess you guys are in the pretty early stages. So how are you working on expanding that NFT project further?
So Discord, definitely doing a lot of learnings and a lot of different Discords right now. So we're looking to put that together. Right now, all the sales are just on OpenSea. So we're going to work with the developer to try to get a website together as well. I'm actually working on it. But the Discord, I guess, is the main thing, and Twitter, because Twitter is huge. It's just we just opened up this other business here, this other location. So I've sort of been juggling between the NFT and my day-to-day operations here. But we just hired some people. So that's going to be their responsibilities to really blow out and grow that Discord and that online community. Because I'm a part of some Discords right now, and it is like fire in there. Like it's like fire breathing dragon.
I know.
Like Discord is a whole nother animal. Like whole nother animal.
I know I got involved in my first NFT project like just 2 weeks ago, and I was part of like 4 Discord groups, and I was like, I still don't know how this shit works. So what am I doing here? How does this operate? It's just so much is happening by the second, by the minute. It can be very like overwhelming, for a person to get into it. But like I'm sure you follow Gary, so you know that how NFTs are such an IP game. So building content around that, and your mission is so incredible. But I felt like that only got communicated through your IGTVs. But maybe, when you have a Twitter and things like that, when you're building up that community, relaying that message out, I think that message will get people in, because it's something that needs to be, it's something that people need to be educated on, it's not just something you see and you're fascinated by it. So I feel like it's a big content play and things like that. So good luck to you on that journey, and I hope like you find some incredible young people in New York, who are like videographers and whatnot, and just start building up a team to get a lot of content out there, so you can build that infrastructure behind it. And I feel like you'll definitely get super close to your dream of, it's an incredible mission. I only want to see it be successful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I such appreciate all of that. And I 100% agree with you. So it's just like, let's go.
Amazing. I know some like some super some cool content creators and stuff. I can link you up with them, if you want them to, like work for you and stuff like that. One of my first guests on my podcast was this guy called Dom Jackson. He was like the epitome of why all of this happened. And he's into fitness as well, and he's in the States. So, he does a podcast and whatnot. So, maybe you can find people like that, to collaborate and take over your NFT project so that they can start building content around them. And, you can do this value exchange of, you have so much more to give, and it can be like a barter system that I've learned is working for a lot of, like getting wisdom from people who are seniors in the game and versus people like us, who are just starting out in the content scene. It works as an incredible partnership. So maybe I think that could be a way moving forward as well.
Definitely. I'm going to look him up and shoot him an email. Let's make it happen. Offense, baby.
I'm going to share his profile link with you. I'm sure like you guys will connect. It'll be awesome.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated.
100%. On that note, what would you say would be your advice for young people?
Don't be scared. Be bold. Be brave. You can change the world. You will change the world. There's going to be platforms in the next 15 years that don't exist right now. There's going to be technology in the next 15 years that doesn't exist right now. Guess what? It's not the old people doing that, right? It's the young people. So keep going. Keep being bold, keep standing up for the right thing, and don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of not trying, because that's the worst, right? Like that regret is the worst. That's my advice for the young people.
Thank you so much for that. And I want to ask you, is there anything that you would like to ask me?
I would love to find out so much more about you. Like, I feel like you have so much info. I feel like you have so much wisdom as well. I guess I would love to flip, 3 pieces of advice that you would give to someone who is starting out in this NFT world. Like, what sort of things should they look out for? What sort of things should they must have? I think that's very valuable info.
Thank you. So are you talking about NFT collectors or people who are behind NFT projects?
I would say behind the projects.
Right. I think the first thing would be getting really educated on what one is diving into, I feel like the biggest, even doing a little bit of homework, I understood, like you were speaking about utility. How is it that people who are NFT collectors are judging if an NFT project is worth getting into? Is 3 things mainly. The community, how strong of a community is. They're judging that by seeing how many Twitter followers it has and how many active Discord followers it has. People who are super up in the game. That's how everyone's judging. So those two platforms I feel like are really important in seeing how authentic the community is and how responsive they are, because everyone has been in the social media game, so they understand what are fake followers. But how much of an interaction, what is your engagement rate, that is a big sign, because that shows that there's a lot of interest in it. I feel like the second thing would be who are the people behind the project, as people say, what is their history, how credible have they been, even something simple like what is their work ethic. Are the people who would just abandon the project after making some money, really judging people's characters and seeing like, who is, it's it's the jockey you bet on, not the horse. So the NFT is the horse and the jockey you bet on. So I feel like we have that in check already. And I think the third thing is just really liking the art. You have to personally genuinely be interested in it, so that even if a project that I've invested in does not do well, I will not be sad about it. I'm not buying it to flip it, I'm buying it for me. So even I know that there's this NFT project which I love. It's called The Lost Boys, and it has these it has this like a black character. It's pure black, and they're just wearing clothes, and in the background they have lo-fi music, so it's like a musical thing. And they want to contribute towards mental health and stuff. It's completely sold out, but it's not doing very well on OpenSea. So people might think it's not successful, but the community is so strong that people love interacting with each other. They have like a 24/7 radio show on Discord, a podcast going on, anything that's continuously keeping your community engaged, being there for them, being active on Twitter, interacting with them, not just like replying to comments, but being personally invested in someone, like you said, giving value. Make sure that yes, you've entered my universe, you've entered my world now. And I feel like the biggest thing for that would be like, we should know the business behind NFTs. It's an IP game. Disney means nothing, but it was Mickey who had a Mickey Mouse house show, who had tiffins, who had bags. How can you leverage that IP? And I think that IP is only leveraged by turning it into a brand. So I believe you guys have mummies, right? How can you take that into storytelling, making stories out of them, making animation out of them? And I feel like Gary is like a great example of how is it that you build a brand. How he would make sure that he's sharing something motivational or something tactic, and you would see his V friends, like pop up here and there, making sure that, people are continuously seeing it and it's registering with them. Like Gary himself is a brand, and when you see that NFT continuously in his content, you associate that NFT with him. So attaching it to a brand. So I feel like, that content is really important. To build that infrastructure of, if people get value out of you, they would 100% want to invest in you. So I'm sorry that was a long answer, but I feel like these were like the biggest things in the NFT world, I believe owners should be aware of.
I think those were gems. Thank you.
100%. And I want to ask you, what made you say yes to the podcast? That was my first question. I completely missed out on it.
Yes to the podcast. I love doing podcasts. I love talking to people. So if you ask me to talk, my answer 99.9% of the time is going to be yes. And then I also, when you mentioned Gary, I knew you were part of like Gary's like community as well. So like, he's got such a strong community. Like there's no one who's got a megaphone like Gary. So like, and when every person that I've met who's been part of that community, it's just been like so awesome, such givers as well. So those are a few of the reasons why I really wanted to come on. I'm super happy I did. I'm glad I got the opportunity to meet you. I continue to just go through and watch a bunch more now of some of these older episodes just to see some of the gems that you've dropped and others have dropped as well. So yeah, that was some of the main reasons why I really wanted to come on. But I'm definitely a talker. You asked me to talk about it.
You have so much to share. It's
music,
amazing.
Health, fitness.
Yeah. I also had like one incredible idea about your NFT project. I feel like you have so much stuff to share as a person, from your advices to your mindset. You're a person who's walked the talk, and you are the brand, you are the person behind the brand. I feel like a great leverage for you would be, like you said, that there's almost no one in the healthcare who's doing this. So if you start thinking about like creating content on LinkedIn targeted towards people in the healthcare business, and just educating them, building up your brand, giving value, and then they also know that you have an NFT project behind it. A person like that would be would be so like, eager to jump on your project. I feel like maybe if you can target a niche of everyone who's in the healthcare business, from like the top people to even kids who are starting out, who are in colleges, who are, like learning and studying about the subject, how you can open their eyes to the great meat of technology and healthcare, how you even like what Fit Club is a part of, bringing physiotherapy and, bringing other therapies in it to get fitness and therapy together, and I think you are a person who's successfully been able to do that. So I think with your NFT would be how you can show what NFTs are capable of for someone in the healthcare business, and making that collision happen. And you can be the top dog in that vertical. When someone thinks of healthcare and NFTs, you should come to mind. I think you can start making your content around that, and you can start targeting people, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and just pushing content out as much as you have a very like contagious energy. When people want to listen to you, they want to be zoned in. Everything you're saying makes sense, and that confidence is incredible, and people will be drawn to that. And that's when you direct them, hey, link in bio to join my Discord community, link in bio to join my Twitter, link in bio, for my OpenSea and stuff like that. I think that'll be incredible. So you do hire this person to build your website, but in the meantime, you make these content. And I've seen you do these amazing IGTVs. I feel like hiring a content person to do like literally what Gary does, very specific, like, repurposed content, something that's 1 minute, short, sweet, on Reels, on TikTok. You build your community there. Either it could be like, if you want to do inspiration, if you want to do motivation, if you want to just do tips and tricks. And in LinkedIn and TikTok, Gary says, has amazing organic reach. So you start building your community here, and your community will in turn support you for your NFT project. And that's just data and statistics, I believe, like, I learned this from Jake Paul, when he said that if you have 1 million views on a video, an average conversion rate would be 5%. And if you are selling a hoodie or something that's worth $20, that 5% translates to almost a 7-figure deal, so building that community is important, and you will start converting a small percentage of people into people who will actually buy your NFT. So you already love giving value, and do that through your content. Make content every day, and you're an amazing speaker. Leverage that. I think that'll be really helpful.
You are amazing. You just filled my soul with so much sunshine. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing everything you shared. I mean, I have so much to take back. So really appreciate you, and super proud to listen to your whole story and what you are actively pursuing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I definitely want to stay connected and watch you continue to grow as well, and just be a part of your journey. And if there's things that I can do to help along the way, please don't be a stranger. Let me know.
100%. Yes, let's please stay connected. And I know COVID is going on, but I'm really trying as soon as possible. It's my dream to make my move to New York. And that's how I started networking there. I want to establish myself there. And there's this company that I really, of course, it's Gary's company, but I got into the first round of Gary's company, but I could not make it through because I'm not a creator, I'm not an editor. But I was, shooting my shot, and I felt like, maybe I have something and I can bring to the table. And that's when I started networking with a lot of people just to make my way there. And I saw that, you work with Ryan. And Ryan is someone I really admire. And he's definitely a person I would like to work with in the future. So, like just building my credibility up and, hustling and taking out videos and stuff like that. So if I get to New York soon, I'm going to let you know on how it goes. And we can connect and do a podcast in real life.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. And Ryan is the man. Like, super smart. Yeah, Ryan is a really, really, really good dude. Mm-hmm.
How did you guys connect?
Mm-hmm. So he's been, I guess, doing training and things like that for years now. So, yeah, him and I are like really, really, really close. Helped out with his like wife and in the same way for training and rehab. So it just started off super organically and just as like, client, patient, and we just become like really close friends. Just like a really good person. I was texting him yesterday about NFT projects, like we talk about that every day. When it was cards, we talked about cards every day. So yeah, he's a really good guy. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. It's so amazing that you have such a great network. You can do these like podcast with them, okay? It does not have to be an hour long, but it could be like a 1 minute, 2 minute podcast. And what that will help you do is build your community, It is exchanging of audiences. So, for example, tomorrow I'm going to post this podcast. Not tomorrow, I'll take a while. But once I edit it and post the podcast, I'll put it up on my Instagram, When you share it, my audience gets to see you and your audience gets to see me. And, that's a collaboration. So podcasts, having guests on is a very good way to, exchange audiences. So that's another great strategy for you to build your community for the NFT world, is if you have such good connections and such great network, you can leverage them and be like, hey, let me ask you a question. Why don't you answer it? And you post that as an IGTV, or you post that as a reel in TikTok and on LinkedIn. That's a great way to build credibility when people see what your network looks like. And that's a great way to even build your own community. So, I'm sorry I go on and on about this, but I love your NFT project.
No, this is great. This is great. I'm like taking mental notes, like, No, this is phenomenal. Like, this is your thing, right? Like, there's so much that comes back when you give. So, like, I think you definitely have a brain for this. Like, the way your mindset thinks. You're like made for this. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Trying my best. But I really hope to look forward to much more content from you. And I'm going to share it and stuff like that. So super excited for what you have in the future. And last question is, would you have any feedback for the podcast? Any way that we could have done better or improved?
No, I think this is awesome. I think you were very, very, very prepared. I think you had a lot of background info. The questions were amazing. The info prior to was very easy to follow. It was crispy. I think you're doing a great job. Thank
you so much, Kellen. It was such a pleasure to meet you and build this connect. Let's please stay in touch. I'm going to hit you up as soon as the podcast goes up. And I'm going to send you Dom's profile and I'm going to leave him a note. I hope you connect with him and find some value in that connection.
Okay. Thank you again for having me. Thank you for everyone listening right now. Hopefully you guys got some gain from this. And it was such a pleasure. I look so forward to hopefully seeing you one day in person.
Yes.
You can come into my office, do a little workout, shoot a podcast after. I'm game for that. How does that sound to you?
Amazing. I think that'll be incredible. All I want to see is, how these networks leverage into real life situations. I think that's the magic there. So, Kellen, such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so, so much for saying yes and coming on. And really look forward to our partnerships in the future.
Yes. All right. You have a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.